Hi guys, we are going to be making buttermilk pancakes today. This is from the Better Homes and Gardens cookbook. My mother has been making buttermilk pancakes like this for years, well before she and my father were even married. And pancakes are it's such an easy thing to make. And anytime that I make these, or people go to restaurants and they have buttermilk pancakes and they always say, oh, these are so good, you know, they just don't compare to the instant box pancake mixes that you buy. So I'm going to show you how to make these. It's super easy. You can really customize the recipe and substitute all sorts of stuff. So first of all, I do not have buttermilk, and that's something that most people don't have. Most people aren't going to keep buttermilk stocked in their refrigerator. But what I like to do is I like to put, the recipe calls for a cup of milk. So I usually put about 1/2 to 3/4 of a cup of milk, and then I will add yogurt to it. Now we are going to be making blueberry bacon pancakes. So I'm just going to add enough of the yogurt to make a cup. And then you're just going to whisk it in. Don't worry if it's a little bit lumpy, because you're going to end up mixing all of this stuff together anyways, so it doesn't have to be perfect. So another thing that you want to do is, while we get all the ingredients ready for the pancakes, you want to take your bacon, and you can either pan fry your bacon or put it in the microwave. I like to put it in the microwave. It's just a little bit easier. It's not as messy, and you can just kind of forget about it. So we will put that in the microwave, and then we will return to making the pancakes. Now, when the instructions for the bacon, cooking the bacon in the microwave, is, I think it's 60 seconds per slice. So I like to start in little 120 intervals. So, okay, so we have our milk, and now we will start adding the dry ingredients. So we have the 1.5 cups of flour, and we are going to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder, I'm using a 1/2 teaspoon measurement. So like I said, guys, this is super easy. It's a great recipe, and I'm sure you could actually mix the ingredients up and just store it like in a jar or something. So all you would have to do is just add your milk and egg and oil, and just be ready to go. So we added the baking powder, and now we have a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and we also have 1/4 teaspoon of salt, And lastly, we have we have 1 tablespoon of sugar. Okay, so you're going to whisk all of this together. Okay, and then we are going to kind of set this off to the side. So now we have the wet ingredients, and we are going to combine all of our wet ingredients into a large, this is a 4-cup measuring cup, and I like to add, my egg and my oil and my milk and just kind of whisk it all together in a measuring cup rather than a bowl, because it's just easier to, it's actually easier to use as a guide. And I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a second. So let me get my eggs. Okay, and here we have our egg, and we are going to lightly whisk it. Okay, and then we will add the oil, and this is let's see, we're adding 3 tablespoons of oil, and I like to use walnut oil because it gives it a nice nutty flavor, and it just adds something extra to the pancakes, rather than just using canola. So we're going to have 3 tablespoons. And you can add a little bit less, since we do have the bacon, but you definitely want these pancakes to have all of the ingredients and all of the liquid to keep them together and keep them nice and fluffy. So, there we have the egg and the oil, and we're going to whisk it together, and then we will add our milk. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and add the milk. And before, when I was saying if you do this, usually I will add, instead of measuring everything out, I will put the egg into the measuring cup. Let me get this to focus. Okay, I will put the egg into the measuring cup, and as you can see, we are at 1/2 cup. Do you see that right there? It says 1/2 cup. You can actually use that as a guide. So we're at 1/2 cup, and if you're going to add 1 cup of milk, that would bring you up to 1.5 cups. That way you really don't have to spend your time, measuring everything out, and it's just extra dishes, so nobody likes that. Okay, we have our blueberries. Okay. And that didn't get quite up to the 1.5 mark. But that's okay. We will just keep it. Okay, so your ingredients are all mixed up. Your wet ingredients are mixed up. So now we are going to add it to the dry ingredients. And then we will mix it all up. So we're going to mix the pancake batter, and then once we actually pour it into the pan, then we will add our blueberries and our bacon. Okay, so now our pancakes are in the pan, and you want to leave your batter a little bit lumpy. You see how it's kind of lumpy? You don't want to mix it too much because then your pancakes are going to be tough. So now we will add our blueberries. And I just kind of sprinkle them around, you know, just throwing them in. Okay. And I usually take a knife and try to cover up the berry a little bit. That way it doesn't just explode when you flip the pancake over. And I buy fresh blueberries and then bring them home and freeze them immediately. That way they're freshly frozen, and a lot of times the frozen blueberries that you buy at the store will bleed, so it will actually end up turning your pancake batter a lovely purple, red color. So we definitely don't want that. Okay. That looks good. And then we will add some bacon. This recipe will actually make about 6 to 8 pancakes. So it'll make more if your pancakes are smaller, but it's a good number. So I just like to push it down just a little bit. Okay, and what you're looking for with the pancake, you are looking for the edges to kind of get dry looking. I don't know if you can see that. You'll see it kind of bubble. These are thick, so you won't see them bubble as much. But right around here, you can kind of see it getting a little bit dry. So you really want to wait until the sides look dry, and then you can flip it over. That way you know the other side is cooked well, and then when you flip it over, it'll just cook, another 2-3 minutes, and then you can just take it right out. And this is the final product. You can see all the little bits of bacon and blueberries in here, and since we did use the blueberry yogurt, it did kind of turn the pancake a little bit of a grayish color, but the flavor's there. They are so good. And you can really just make plain pancakes, or you can add the blueberries, strawberries. Really, you can do whatever you want with these pancakes. So I hope y'all enjoyed it.